Well, welcome again. I'm Dr. David Hargroder, and we're here today to talk about a special topic, MGB, a life changing decision. I got
Yes.
with me Ms. Carla Hubenthal, our patient care coordinator. Carla comes up with these interesting topics all the time. So I want to let you start off giving me an idea of how you want to approach this.
Well, because having the mini gastric bypass is such a tremendous life change, explain a little bit about why it is so life changing.
Well, for those that have followed me, you've heard me say it a million times, but the physiologic effects that this surgery has on individuals suffering with various medical problems is just absolutely amazing. I've been doing this now for over 20 years, 22 years, and I still never tire seeing patients that struggle with diabetes and they're go home the next day after surgery off all of their diabetes medicine, with high blood pressure that go off of their high blood pressure medicine the day after surgery. And most of the time, they'll never have to go back on any of it ever again. Or if they do, it's going to be some small portion. And that's not the exception. That's the rule. It's like 90 to 95% of our patients with diabetes, excuse me, are off their diabetes medicine within a day or two after the surgery. Same thing with blood pressure, although it's not quite as high, probably 75 or 80% of our patients. Same thing with sleep apnea, cholesterol levels, but not just that, it's your overall energy and those aches and pains that you have. And that gets better, not just because you lose a whole bunch of weight, it gets better almost immediately. Like within the first few days after surgery, you're going
Yes.
to notice that your back doesn't hurt the way it used to, that your knees don't hurt. It's just a very common and normal phenomenon. And then, of course, there's the effect that the surgery has on your heart, which is also kind of more hidden away. You might not realize it, but you'll notice it within the first few weeks after surgery when you walk up a flight of stairs or walk across the parking lot at the local grocery store or Walmart or something, and you don't have to stop and rest before you carry on because your heart is pumping more efficiently. It's making you have more energy because you're getting more oxygen to your cells. You're getting just more nutrients to your body pumped throughout your body, and so all in all, from a medical and physiologic point of view, it is typically a very dramatic, life changing effect.
Yes, it truly does. And making that decision, understanding the impact of the MGB truly helps you to overcome that fear of making that decision. Before we go on, I'd like to explain a little bit about how each of us decide things. And the example I'm going to use is Henry and I. Most of you have heard me talk very much about Henry and the fact that he's very analytical. Well, years ago, right after we had gotten married, Henry walked into my office one day and he says to me, I think it's time for us to get a new car. So, what I think that means is okay, I grab my purse, we go to the dealership, I pick out the color, he picks out the car, we do the paperwork, and we leave.
Not
It's
Henry.
no, not Henry. Henry is very analytical and very mechanical. So, every question he asked the salesperson who could not answer it, he would tap me on the shoulder and go, okay, come on, we need to leave. And well, what about this red car here? And he's like, no, no, we need to leave. We'd get outside and he'd say, they don't know what they're doing. So we're going to go somewhere else. So 2 months later and six dealerships later, we went into a dealership and I said to the salesperson, who of course comes to me because I'm the one catty, who comes and I said, come here, come here, come here. I'm going to teach you how to sell this car to my husband so I can leave with a car. We left with a red car. Yay. But the reason I point that out is because, and just when he met you as well, he asked you 45 minutes worth of questions that you have heard, and I know you've heard day after day after day, but you were so patient and so compassionate and so willing to answer his questions that it made us comfortable in making that decision. So the reason I share that is because if we can provide what our partner needs to help us overcome the fear and make that step, because that then gives us the support to do so, will make all the difference in the world,
Hmm.
because it is definitely a partnership decision.
Yeah. Well, we even require
Mhm.
our patients that consider having this surgery, they have to have a support person accompany them, whether that is
Yes.
a spouse or whether it's a child or a parent or a best friend, but somebody to go along that journey with you. I think that's a really important point.
Yes. And it will help you not go to six dealerships.
Well, and
The
you
next time he came
and
in
you had
my
probably
office.
been to two or three dealerships before you came to me, right? You went to an MGB
Yeah.
seminar and a lap band seminar. I don't think they were doing the sleeve yet
Yes.
when you had your surgery, but
No.
yeah, I remember hearing the stories.
Well, and I have to tell you, the Roux Y session we went to, the physician explained the surgery very quickly and handed out a brochure. And Henry, of course, raised his hand and asked a question. And the physician said, "It's in the brochure." And that was, and then
Yeah.
he left. And Henry looked at me like, "What?" But yes, so you see, it means the world to us for you to answer those questions. I know you've heard 1,000 times, but it's amazing at what our partner needs that we may not
Well,
need. I just need to know what it's going to do. See, Henry has to have plan A, plan B, and plan C. I just know plan A is going to work, so
right,
let's go.
right.
And we process that differently, and so do our patients and their partners. So if that can help someone, please, we are more than willing to answer anyone's questions
Absolutely.
along the way.
Yeah.
Now, explain me. Oh,
No,
go
I was
ahead.
just going to say it is such an important and big life changing decision, right? It's
Yes.
not to be taken
Yes.
lightly, and we
No.
also require patients to go through several steps to prepare for the surgery. And it's not like a
Mhm.
lot of these insurance companies that make you go through 6 months of diet and doctor
Yes.
supervised diet, et cetera. I think that is really
Yes.
unfair because most adults, by the time they've reached the age of 30 or 40, have tried every diet, have tried everything. Very
Yes.
seldom do I get a patient
Yes.
that comes to me that hasn't tried at least 4 or 5 different diets, lost 20 or 30, 50 pounds, gained it back. And then to have to go and do that
Yes.
again is unfair, I think. But, just it is such an important
Mhm.
decision that it isn't one we want people just taking lightly. And that's why we provide so much preoperative education, both in the form of these videos to make sure
Yes.
people understand a little bit more about the surgery. And then, of course, anyone that wants to call you or call me to ask questions to make sure they fully
Yes.
understand exactly what it all entails, we're more than happy to answer those questions as well.
Yes, please call me. My number is 314-807-7110, and I'm happy to answer any questions you might have. Now, explain a little bit about the impact of the decision on us emotionally. Yay, I love that one.
I suppose you almost could probably do it better than I, both being an actual patient who can share your experience and
Yes.
the experiences you've heard from other people. But I can tell you that when the decision is made, it's like a weight gets lifted off of your shoulder. Like there's finally
Yes.
hope, because there's nothing more despairing than, trying like crazy to lose weight. And, part of the motivation
Yes.
of the book that I wrote, Obesity, It's Not a Character Flaw. It's so unfair that obese people get sort of put in that category of overindulgent and lazy, right? Because what I have seen, my
True.
experience has been that these are some of the most motivated patients that you could ever meet. They have tried every form of exercise. They've tried every form of diet. They desire like crazy to lose weight, and yet their body is working against them every step of the way. And,
Yes.
being a thin man, it's always one of those things that I have to let people know, look, I'm no better than you. I'm not on any more
Right.
of a strict healthy diet than you are. I just am made genetically different than you are. It's just, it's the luck of the draw with genetics and the environment and hormones and all the different things that go along with it. I couldn't weigh 300 pounds if somebody put a gun to my head. Whereas a person that's 300
Right.
pounds couldn't weigh 180 pounds if somebody put a gun to their head. And it takes something like this
Correct.
surgery to do that. And when they finally can pull the trigger, make that decision to have the surgery, it is just a weight lifts off. They get so excited and so enthusiastic in
Yes.
anticipation for their upcoming surgery date. That's a really fun period. And then after the
Yes.
surgery, though, emotionally, there can be a roller coaster, because
Oh,
sometimes
it is.
patients, like,
Yes.
a week later, or even a day later, I've walked into a patient's room the day after surgery and they're in tears, like, what did I do? Oh my God, this was the biggest mistake of my life.
Yes.
I'll never forget that young lady. And we just had a nice long talk. And of course, a week later, when she came in for follow up, she was happy and excited because she had lost a bunch of weight already, and
Sure.
everything turned out fine. But it is definitely an emotional ride, that's for sure.
It's one of the most amazing life changes. We have life changes when we choose our career, when we choose our partner, when we have children. But I rate it right up there with being so life changing emotionally and physically. It's like being alive
Yeah,
again and given the chance. And I still have a hard time wrap my head around my age because I don't feel that. And when I see so many people, so many of my friends who are my age, who are on so many medications, so many things are, and here I am, healthy as can be. And you never forget what it was like to weigh
yeah,
320. You never forget that, but you never are less grateful that you no longer weigh 320. It is a whole
yeah,
different life, and you are always thankful. So thank you, thank you, thank you for the procedure, for your skills, and for being so patient and compassionate to all of us. You help us understand that it's not our fault of where
yeah,
we are. And you give us that key to unlock that fat cage and let us out so we can be ourselves again. It truly is. It's a really so life changing. You can't really explain it to people until they
sure. Well,
experience it.
I do lots of other things besides the MGB. I take
Yes.
gallbladders out. I fix hernias. I'll do colon cancer surgery. I do trauma surgery and all these different surgeries, even transplant surgery. When I used
Yes.
to do kidney transplants, 30 years ago,
Yes.
um, there's just something about the MGB patient that is so rewarding. I guarantee you, the gallbladder patient that I took their gallbladder out 5 years ago, or heck, even 5 months ago, probably doesn't remember my name, and I don't remember
Yes.
theirs. But the patients that I've
Right.
operated on for weight loss surgery, they'll remember me, and Most of the time, I remember them. Now, a lot of times I don't recognize them if they come up to me a year later and I haven't seen them in a while, but I certainly remember them because it's just such a sensational journey,
Mhm.
the whole process.
Well, and look at what some of our patients have accomplished after losing the 100, 200
Some
plus
of them put me to
pounds.
shame.
I mean,
It's like I wish I could be as
oh
healthy
my
as you.
gosh.
We, hiking the
Yes,
mountains in Spain and running
yes,
triathlons and
yes.
all the jumping out of parachute, jumping out of a plane. Oh man, yeah,
It is. It's
it is pretty amazing for sure.
yes. So call
All right,
us.
well, Carla, why don't you
Happy to help you.
give, give out your number one more time in case anybody
It's
wants to get in touch with you.
it's 314-807-7110. You can call me anytime. I hear that phone ring, I'll answer you, and I'm happy to do so. So thank you
All
so
right, and
much,
just
Dr.
remember,
Hargroder.
you are
Yes.
quite welcome. But I just want to tell viewers, just remember this is Central Time.
Oh.
So keep that in mind. Carla's not a 24-hour call center, so she will answer her phone all the
Yes,
time
I
on the
will.
weekends. But, obviously have some respect and don't be calling her at 11 o'clock at night or 2 o'clock in the morning and that sort of thing. So,
Unless I'm out dancing, then I won't answer till later.
all right. Well, listen, I know you're going to have a great topic for next week. Make
Okay.
sure to let me know about it right away, and I'll be able to post it so people will have a longer chance to watch and watch out for it and maybe
I
prepare
will
for it.
do so.
All right.
All right.
We'll talk.